Hey everyone, how you doing? So, I want to talk about using two notes to play blues. And what I mean is, sometimes accompanying other musicians or playing in a band situation in blues, you don't always want to be doing, you know, filling all the frequency range. You're playing full on chords, or even sometimes even that's too much. If you've got a piano player who's quite busy, or other musicians, or another guitar player that's playing, they're already playing that, so you need something different. You can make a really nice accompaniment with just two notes. And what I was doing at the very beginning of that section was just playing kind of like a tritone sound, really. And what it is I'm in the key of A, right? Let's sort that out first. So we're in the key of A. So I was using an A and D. So the 1 chord, then the 4 chord. Then back to the 1 chord, back to A. Then to the 5 chord, which is E. And all I was doing to accompany that over the A was playing this little shape. Over the D, playing this little shape. Back on the A. And then on the E, here. So I'll explain that. So over the A, I'm playing the flat 7, which is a note of G, and the major third, which is a C sharp, which come from that A7 chord there. But the cool thing about it, right, and the mathematics of music, if you like, is that if I move that down 1 fret, I end up getting, it's the other way around, but I end up getting the major third here of the D, which is the F sharp, and the C here, which is the flat 7 of the D, which comes from that kind of C shape, or C7 shape chord. So here's the A, 5th fret and 6th fret on the 4th string and 3rd string. There on the D, back up 1 fret for the A, up 1 fret for the E, because that comes from that C7 shape. C7 shape, not an actual C7, but it's an E7, but the C7 shape, right? Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, and then back to the A. So over that, so you get the idea, right? And it's a cooler way just to, you know, jam along. You've got another guitar player or keyboard player or whatever, and they're already covering the, you know, the big, or whatever they're doing, the big chord thing or whatever. Or you maybe just want a section of the song where it's a little bit softer, or there's less going on, right? That's cool how it works. But also in the beginning there I was playing some kind of lead guitar as well, some solo stuff, and trying to show you how you can also use these to target the chord changes, you know, to play the changes. So if you're over A and you're about to move to the 4 chord, the D, you can kind of visualize that little shape and just try and get there for that chord change, you know. So and to the E, and so on. So you can also use it within your lead playing and just use it to target those chord changes. I also played like a higher version of it So keeping the major thirds where they are, I took the flat 7 here and put it up an octave. So over the A, instead of the G being here, the G is now here. So now we've got 6th fret on the 3rd string, 8th fret on the B string. Same kind of tritone interval. Sounds awful on its own, doesn't it? But in the track, works, you know. But that's the cool thing about dominant 7th chord. That's what gives it its bluesy sound. You've got the major 3rd and the flat 7th together. It's very dissonant, but that's the way it works. Has that tonality about it. So the A would now be here. Down a fret. Just as before, we now get the major 3rd of the D here, the F sharp, and we get the C here as before. If I play a D bass note underneath, it will help. Back to the A, and up a fret for the E. And you can use that in the exact same way with lead guitar as well, you know, with your solos. So if you're... try and hit that change to the 4 chord, you know, where you're trying to play the change there. You can visualize that. You haven't got to play the notes together. You know, you can literally just be aware of it, you know that it's there. And just hit those over the D. So I'll try and do some of that. And so on. So just a little trick today, a quick trick, but hopefully I'll give you something to have a go at. And just using those tritone kind of sounds, the devil's interval if you want to call it that, but just to jam over blues, whether it's rhythmic, whether you're just someone singing, and you want to do something a little bit different rather than... you might want to do something different for the next time round. Or if you want to use it within, like I say, within your solos, within your improvisation, you know, could use those shapes, targeting those chord changes. So have a go. Any questions, chuck them in the comments. I'll read all the comments. So let me know if there's anything else that you want me to cover as well in these videos. So if there's something else you think of that you'd like to know about, and I can help you with it, I absolutely will. If I can't, then I'll be honest and say, no idea what you talk about. I think we're all guilty of being comfortable in our own playing a lot of the time. And I think sometimes just taking yourself out of your comfort zone and doing something a little bit different is good for you. So have a go, even if it's not your thing. And it may just add something to your playing. I hope it does. And anyway, as always, thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Catch you later. Cheers.